How about, okay, so right now, what we've been doing is basically pulling credit, gathering documents, verifying the income. Like, what can we expect on some of our first calls, or like maybe a general idea of like the next steps we're gonna be taking with the borrower to like price the loan? Like, are we pricing it right away, or, what can we expect?
So, I imagine you're probably talking about after the conversation, right? So after the conversation, you line them up with what documents you'll need. You kind of set up the expectation. And so at that time is when you really need to have the effect of when the sitcom or the TV show goes to a commercial. It's that anticipation, like, oh man, I can't wait till this commercial's done, right? You want to have that kind of sense because they know that in order for that commercial to end and for them to see the next screen is that they need to give you A, B, and C. Does that make sense? So you can do it in so many different ways, but what I have found to be most effective is you build up this kind of the expectation of, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this, this, and this, but I can only do it when you give me this. That makes sense. So you sell it first, and then say, but in order to get it, I need this. Whereas if you just did it in reverse and say, okay, I need this, 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 and then I can do this. All they heard was, I need this, this, this. Mm-hmm. Make sense? They're not really included because they're thinking as you're giving them the benefit, where the hell did I put that tax return? Oh man, I don't know where my pay stub is. They're saying that. They're hearing that in their head. Whereas you like, okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together what's called a pre-approval letter for you. This pre-approval letter is basically as good as cash. It's so much stronger than a pre-qualification because it's just not based on conversation. Here's the cool thing is it's actually underwritten. So you're safely out there spending your time looking at houses that you know you can confidently make an offer on. But here's the best part is when you use it and you make an offer, it's taken more seriously. So if the other people who are interested in that home present a pre-qualification, guess who has the upper hand? You do. I'm going to get you this. And this is the best part is that since it's already pre-underwritten, all your income, all the I's will be dotted, the T's will be crossed. I'm going to send you a quick email. It's just a few things that I'll need so I can get that letter in front of you. Does that make sense? They're already bought into the letter by the time I'd say the steps. Whereas most agents are saying, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a pen and paper. I'll need 2 years tax returns, proof of assets, all bank statements, all pages, right? Your life, your newborn's blood type, right? What your grades were in 4th grade, right? And then they're like, oh my God, this is a lot, right? They kind of don't want to do it anymore. But if you get all that, I'm going to get this real cool pre-approval letter. It's too late because they don't want it no more.
Too much work.
Yeah, it's too much work. But if you get them bought into the idea first and you make it sound through your tonality that's very easy, they'll comply. So let's take off from there. So let's say they send you all the documentation and you have your full package to get them pre-approved and send them down the line, right? So you set up the expectation by saying, okay, cool, so I got all your documentation. I just scanned the file. Looks like we got everything we need. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and put it in line for review. And once I get your pre-approval letter, I'm going to give you a call back, and then I'm going to, depending if they're purchase path, right? So if they got a realtor or whatnot, and say what I'm going to do is actually prepare for your realtor as well. So what's their information? Because you want their contact info too. And sometimes it's hard to get that. So always be sure you get the contact info and make it seem like you need it for the pre-approval. Because what happens is right when you hang up the phone on them and you do the pre-approval, you want that set in stone. So if you get a pre-approval letter for this person, the very first thing after you call them is call the realtor and say, hey, my name's Daniel with New American Funding. I just want to let you know I just got a signed authorization, a pre-approval for the Joneses. And I'm going to be assisting them with their financing. Here's my direct phone number. Here's my cell phone number. You can text me, you can email me. Now, some of us may look at it like, I don't want to give my cell phone number. Well, in all reality, the technology is so strong, you can block whatever number that you don't want to get called by anymore, right? So to have to be most accessible is going to be your biggest advantage because a lot of loan officers don't want to give their cell phones. But if you give the cell phone and you demonstrate to the realtor that you're always going to be a call or text away, you'll find that they don't call, they'll actually just text more often. That's fine. And so why that's important is because realtors just want accountability, right? Otherwise, they're going to kind of nitpick you and then influence your pre-approved buyer to go meet with their agent because they can get answers fast, right? Which is another thing too, because you guys are in the position you might feel like, oh man, these people might want certain things and I may not be able to give it to them because I don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? Like, oh, please don't ask me for some shit I don't understand. Ooh, please don't. So the best way to go around that is like, yeah, no worries. I'll go and get back to you on that. Let me go ahead and add that to the list because I got a few other things I'm gonna do for your file. And just make it roll off your tongue like that, right? Make a quick note, and then once you hang up the phone, be like, yo, what the hell is this dude talking about? And then learn about it, right? But don't make it look like, okay, because they could sense your tonality, and they're like, dude, this guy has no fucking idea what he's doing, right? Like, we need someone more solid. And that's kind of just, it's just like, it's role playing. It's just, you got to be comfortable with it. So if it happens and you guys catch yourself, don't beat yourself up about it. Just take it as a learning curve. You know what I mean? Like, everything you're going to go through right now is learning. And I'm excited for you guys because you guys are at this point right now where it's new, it's fresh, right? Like, there's sky's the opportunity. And, after you've been doing it for so long, sometimes you can kind of get burnt because it's just the same rigorous process. Yeah. But, as long as you kind of keep it a game and you go from the start of just saying, hey, my goal is to help 5 people this week, right? Like, today I'm going to help at least one person be on their way to go find their new home. You look at it from that perspective, it's going to be a little bit different. Your message will come out a little bit different, rather than it be kind of a grind or using kind of the experience of others, like, who are having a hard time getting numbers, and be like, man, look at him, he's having a hard time. Shit, I'm gonna have a hard time too, right? We just kind of naturally, it's attracting that way. But because in all reality, you're not selling until they open up escrow, right? So you don't have to worry about pitching. We'll do another session where I go over with you guys what happens when we go into escrow. What happens when they say, hey D, I'm about to open up escrow. What's your bottom line rate? I can get it cheaper here, right? So where you're going to be able to win that argument is going to be dependent on how good of a job you did throughout the shopping. So this is why it's key to have your content kind of already in the works. Because let's say you talk to Jim and you help him out, the same messages that you send to Jim and the same follow-ups is going to be refined for when you help Susie, when you help Sally, and when you help James, and when you help, right? It's just repetitive. And you're going to be refining it throughout the way to make it your own. And don't take the cheap route because it's just you want to make it look very professional, but not too professional. You don't want to make it look, like an essay or have like spreadsheet galore. It's got to be like straight to the point, very personable, right? Like sometimes even misspell a word, just kind of like, hey, this dude's real, right? But you kind of create like this. It's like a series. Like every Friday, I can always expect an email from D, right? Like every Friday, this guy's reminding me like, hey, I just want to wish you happy hunting this weekend, and these are all autopilot. It's like, hey, here, check out this one thing. There's 5 new things, and you can switch it up. It doesn't always have to be fun facts, Like, oh, hey, check out this cool review I got from one of my buyers, and it's a review that they left about you, right? Which is another thing you guys want to plan into also is everyone involved in your transaction. You're going to want to ask them for a review at the time of closing. So when they open up escrow and they close, when you give that congratulations is the best time to ask for a review because they're at their highest peak. And you want to make it easy for them. So make it easy, meaning like, hey, can you do me a quick favor? Can you click on this link and answer these 3 questions? And these 3 questions where it was like, how was it working with me? What was most memorable about working with me? And would you recommend me? And so they're using that as kind of a gauge, like, it was great working with Daniel. He made everything so super simple. I would definitely recommend him. So you made it easy for them and they didn't have to think about it, right? You take that same exact template and you send it to their realtor. And now you got a review from a realtor. Does that make sense? In the future, and when you're dealing with realtors, you can actually share that content with the realtor. Or you could share that content as kind of your weekly follow-up. Like, hey, I got this real cool review from this realtor, check it out. And it's just constantly pounding in, Daniel's great, Daniel's great, Daniel's reliable, Daniel's awesome. Make sense? And so they're telling themselves this. And so if they ever get persuaded or see an advertisement or get down to escrow, they don't care about the other offers because they've been pounding in their head for the last 6 weeks that Daniel's great, Daniel's awesome, right? And you've been kind of working it up in that manner.